Welcome to Live Live's top stories of the week. Let's get started with LA, and I am JT. Um,
Welcome.
all right,
JT, thanks.
so
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead. You can talk.
no, go ahead.
I was saying, welcome. Thanks for having me on this show with you. I appreciate it. This is going to be fun. We're going to tap into what's happening for the week, but don't take our word for it.
Yeah, so let's get started. LA, you want to start with the first clip?
Yeah. Let me pull up the first one. The first one is interesting to me because
I thought you was riding with me because I put on for my city and I try to bring my city up every step of the way. I did not know you was riding with me because you thought I would ride for who you voted for. I didn't know that. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't know that I had to agree with your political choices, and I thought it was the things that you do, not the things that you say should be done. If you follow what I do, this shouldn't even be an argument. He's the president. He won. This isn't a campaign. This isn't an RNC. I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5. You see what I'm saying? Like to try to help somebody get voted.
Kamala didn't invite you to perform?
No. She didn't invite me.
She didn't invite me either, man. I was gonna do it all at home.
Saying. Like so, but I don't knock the ones that did. I don't knock the brothers and sisters that benefited from it. I don't knock the correspondents that may have gotten money to do that. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country, have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office. So if they can put their life on the line for whoever in office, I can damn sure perform for whoever.
So let's talk about it. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know why. I understand why he's trying to draw a comparison between him performing and supporting the White House and this country in comparison to military officers to drive his point home that it doesn't matter. It's for the country, right? He's providing a service of entertainment to the country. I find that to be completely different from people that literally sign up to go to war to protect this country. Like Nelly's not protecting the country. He's performing. He's getting a huge check out of it, right? He's not going to be separated from his family for months. He's not going to have to travel overseas and go someplace where conditions are really bad. He gets to perform and go home and get some popularity behind it. So I don't know why he's comparing it. I feel like he should say, okay, I'm doing it for the money or I'm supporting Donald Trump. I feel like he wants to avoid saying that he's supporting Donald Trump and wants to say that he's supporting the country when a lot of the country doesn't support Donald Trump. Like we had a vote. He won, but everyone didn't vote for Donald Trump. And that's kind of sloppy and kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, but an overwhelming, majority voted for Trump. So it's like, it's not like an electoral college versus a popular vote or anything like that. He won, and he said he respects the office. So it's a matter of, as he said, it's not like a campaign rally or anything. Like he's showing support for a candidate. He's showing support for an administration, like a new administration. The change of power.
I understand that, but also that's a soundbite. And more of his interview the interviewer is saying, you know, this is Klan country, and Nelly is saying this is not Klan country. Where's this Klan country at? That's not real. This is a Klan country. So for him to not understand that kind of like connects back to your purpose, you know, as a person, as an individual. The person in office is aligning with certain things that don't fit right for this country. A lot of the things, forget the, you know, all of the things about money. People's going to have more money. People's going to pay less taxes, pardoning Black people, all of those things. This is Klan country. For him to not understand that means that any decision that he makes concerning Black people, where he's in a position of power and influence to say yes or no to something, he's never going to be willing to make a decision based on that.
This is on brand for him. His first song that sold him like what? I don't know, almost 10 million or something like that. Country Grammar has Donald Trump's name in it. So that's the only reason why he's performing there, is because Donald Trump's name is in the song. So it's on brand for him. So like I don't see how this has changed anything. We weren't saying anything about him saying Donald Trump's name in the song before.
Well, I think it was a different climate back then. And in music, you can say whatever you want because it's entertaining to mention certain people. And maybe he should have touched on why he created the song in the first place and why he mentioned Donald Trump's name back then. And maybe some of us will have a better understanding of what the connection is now. Why create a song and mention Donald Trump's name in the time when that song came out? Was Donald Trump involved in politics in a good way? Like, what's the reason behind the song?
Donald Trump had money, and it was, you know, Donald Trump, Bill Gates.
So did a lot of other Black people. There's been a lot of Black millionaires and billionaires at the same time that song came out. He chose to mention Donald Trump.
Because, well, I believe at the time, he might have been richer than all of the Black billionaires or what have you.
He might have been richer, but there was still plenty of there were plenty of prominent, influential Black wealthy people when it came out. I think one of the things between then and now in terms of the temperature changing is that we're becoming more intentional. We want everyone who has influence, who's Black, has money and influence, to be a lot more influential and intentional and purposeful. You have Colin Kaepernick that has no football career because he stood on something. That probably wouldn't have happened around the time that Nelly put out this song. But I think now we're expecting for our people to be very intentional about our yeses and nos when we are standing next to white people with money and power today, the climate today. Nelly's probably thinking in the idea of when that song came out, the kind of energy he was on back then. I can understand that, but that's not what we are today.
Yeah, but anytime he perform, he's not performing a new song. He's performing a song of nostalgia.
Correct. The Confederate flag is nostalgic. Certain statues are nostalgic. They represent a moment in time for this country, and they were taken down with purpose and intention.
Yeah, but people want to cancel Nelly now because of a performance, but people aren't necessarily saying we should retroactively cancel the song Country Grammar because Donald Trump's name is in it.
And maybe that'll be a next step. Now that we've been awakened to this moment, if Nelly wasn't invited to perform, we would not be discussing the song at all. It would be a bop. It would be that song like, yo, that was a hit. That was a jam. But now we're taking it under a microscope. So maybe that might be a next step for people, or canceling Nelly altogether. And then that'll be a final step for him. I mean, it's not like his music is played on the radio in a lot of major markets.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, you got to think about the fact that he's playing to the majority, not the minority. So, you know.
I mean, it's, you know, he's in the public court right now, so we just got to see what's going to happen. I mean, he's already responded, which I like. I like the fact that he responded because you get to hear more of him. And then you get to make a further decision on if you're going to go with him or not. Some of the other things that he's saying in the interview are definitely like off brand. So, for this country in terms of today. Today is Martin Luther King's holiday, and the president is being put into office today. Today is a special show episode we're doing because today is Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday, and they are bringing a president into office today, where normally you would have TV programming for the entire or most of the day talking about Dr. Martin Luther King and his intention and purpose, but we're discussing Nelly and a country grammar song and Trump.
Well, when we were speaking offline, you were saying, you know, that Nelly isn't like a gangster rapper, but you have the probably biggest gangster rapper, Snoop Dogg, you know, the guy who beat a murder trial. He's performing there as well.
Well, you know, in the hip hop community, we love trash. We promote trash. We love gangsterism. We love all of that stuff. So now you have the dirty version standing next to the billionaire. We like to see that because then it's saying, oh, he broke through. We would prefer to see the gangster standing next to the Klansman than the yes man standing next to the Klansman if you wanted to create a visual about this. But
so
Snoop has gotten backlash.
So you're saying hip hop likes trash. So you're saying Snoop Dogg is trash?
No, I'm saying that we don't want in terms of the music country grammar, it was about whatever it was about, the theme of the song, right? But then you have a gangster who went to trial. We prefer that because then it's like, oh, yo, this is a killer, this is a gangster, this is a Crip standing next to the president. That says more for our community, unfortunately, than Nelly, who wasn't in the spotlight for a murder trial, who put out great music that was for the radio, for the family, for the kids. It doesn't translate the same. Neither one of them should be standing next to Donald Trump, in my opinion, because Snoop has been standing next to Martha Stewart. You know, he's elevated, he's a changed man, but we still view them from the music that they put out back then in comparison. But we would prefer the dude that was the killer to be standing next to the president versus the good guy, because that's just what we're used to in our community.
But I'm like, Trump pardoned Lil Wayne, Kodak Black. So I'm like, is it not right for other rappers to stand with the president who's pardoned other rappers?
I think I would agree that it makes sense to do that. Like, yo, listen, he's helped our brothers. He's helping our sisters. Like, if Nelly and Snoop are friends with Kodak Black and Weezy, it's like, yo, he let my peoples go free. I'm gonna stand next to him now. Yeah, but this is just an assumption. We don't know. We don't know why Snoop has done it, but we're hearing what Nelly has to say, and some of the stuff is a little weird. It's a little worried. Like, yo, this is not Klan country. I think maybe he could have kept that part out of it. He could have mentioned what you just said, that, listen, you know, he's supporting my community, my music community. He's pardoned other artists that I know that have influence for our people. He could have said that, but that's not what he said.
At the end of the day, hip hop music only goes but so far. Like, you want to be at the top of hip hop so that you're in the pop zeitgeist, right? So pop music is popular music. if you're talking about the majority of people in the country that voted for Trump and he's being inaugurated, you're performing, you have a chance to get the majority of the country to become your fans. How is that
Correct.
a bad thing from a capitalistic, perspective of music?
We wouldn't have this conversation if Barack Obama had him performing, right? That's the obvious. When we're looking at Trump, we're looking at anybody that stands next to him, supports every ideal that he has about how to run this country and how to treat Black people. That's how we're looking at this.
Well, Barack Obama
We're
had
not able to see this.
Barack Obama had Jay-Z behind him, but we didn't say that Barack Obama supported drug dealing.
Correct. And why is that? Well, that's a good question to ask. Because Jay-Z is no longer a drug dealer. He put the past behind him.
He talks about drug dealing on every album. Like, give me an album of Jay-Z where he's not talking about drug dealing.
Right. And that's a good point to make. Why do we have an issue with Nelly and Donald Trump? Because it's Donald Trump. That's why. Because it's Donald Trump and we don't like Donald Trump. The people don't like Donald Trump. The ones that don't like him, don't like him. And again, Nelly in the interview, the part of the clip that we just played, he's explaining some other things that are so not true. And, maybe he might have toned it down. Maybe he should have gotten some PR involved. I don't know whoever is on his team, but maybe he should have thought about how he was going to respond to people. And it seemed like in the interview, he didn't care. His energy was, I don't really care who has an opinion about it or not. Like he said, he didn't get a phone call. The $1.5 million that was spent on campaigning, he wasn't included in that. So to me, it's a money grab. I don't really think Nelly is the one to be asking why he's performing. I think if 50 Cent was up there, I would be asking why is 50 performing, but I wouldn't be asking Nelly.
Why would
Nelly?
What is the difference between 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg?
Well, the difference between 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg, I don't think there is a difference in terms of entertainment right now.
Yeah, so I'm like,
but Nelly, there's a difference. Nelly, you don't see Nelly. It's no difference between Snoop and 50 Cent, but I mean, I don't even know. Huh?
I was saying Soulja Boy is in the mix too, because Soulja Boy is performing and getting backlash too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people, going into your next story, people are, talking about equity and inclusion, but when it is offered, people want to self-segregate. I think you got to take it all, or you can't cherry pick how you want your DEI, as they would say.
But that's what we do as human beings. That's what we do as Black people. We're so far against the fence on both sides. Like, that is what we do. We do pick. Even if it was something free, even if Donald Trump said, I would give away 2,000 free tickets to Black people to come and watch Nelly perform. Would those people even take the tickets? Or would the same people that don't agree that he should be performing go because it's Nelly? I don't like Trump, but I'll go because it's Nelly performing, and I never got a chance to see Nelly perform, so I'm going to take a free ticket. So if you're in the audience watching Nelly perform standing next to Donald Trump, then technically you're also standing with Donald Trump because you took something that he was accepting. Now, going into DEI, you're right. Now it comes around to inclusion. What's to be included and what's to be excluded? When do we complain and not complain about being included?
Yeah, so you want to pull up your stuff for for DEI and tell us what's going on currently with DEI?
Hold on a second. This story is out of Indiana.
Tonight at 5, there are several new laws impacting Hoosiers following Governor Mike Braun's first executive orders. They include the elimination of the diversity, equity, and inclusion in state government.
Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker was in the governor's office as he signed those orders today, and she joins us now to share what this will mean for Hoosiers.
Well, Governor Braun has long said that he wants to run Indiana like a business. He's a businessman, after all. He says today's executive orders follow a theme of providing government that's more efficient, accountable, and transparent. If you work for the state and work remotely, it's time to come back to the office. Governor Braun signed an order Wednesday requiring all state employees to be back working in person by July 1st. And like with anything, Braun said there might be some exceptions.
We believe in the value of in-person collaboration and believe this will foster a stronger, more connected state workforce.
When it comes to working for the state, Braun signed another executive order that calls for examining all positions to see if a degree is necessary to be hired. Hiring managers will also be encouraged to prioritize.
Tonight at 5, there are several new.
So that's Governor Braun of Indiana, and so what he has decided is, when I first was hearing about it, I thought it had to do with like all DEI in the entire state, but it's for state agencies, like any state office. He's removed DEI and replaced it with MEI, right? And the reason for that is that he's saying we want I think that what he's trying to say is we want people included based on merit, right? The M in MEI stands for merit. We don't want to just pick you because there was a law passed that said that we have to like bypass some of your flaws to bring you on. We want to keep you as competitive as possible, right? But in order to keep you competitive, we're not saying you're just going to show up with a high school diploma and then we're just going to hire you because you are a person of color. He's saying it's based on merit. I mean, if you go to college and you have a loan, an outstanding loan that you're paying off, and then somebody else got free tuition and their skill sets are lower than yours, wouldn't you want to be identified as a person of merit? I think that for people of color, people, that are at the bottom, DEI helps because it gives you like a couple of points. It's like here in New York City, I don't know if they still do, but there was a time when you took a city exam, you got a waiver. You didn't have to pay the application fee if you were on public assistance. And then if you came from certain demographics, they would give you a couple of free points on the test to help you pass. So if you scored a 55 on the test, because you probably didn't study, they would give you a couple of points, and then you pass the test, and then you're qualified to get hired in one of the city agencies. But then, how well can you do the job once you get there? So I like what he's doing. I mean, what do you think about it?
I think that it's flawed. If you talk about like the school to prison pipeline, bad beginning environments like redlining and different things like that take away privatized education and things that would excel somebody through high school and college and maybe even to the point of going to grad school or something like that. It's all about more or less merit becomes a monopoly on the money that you put into that. And if you don't have the funds to do that, having a public education, you will probably be at a disadvantage for these merit-based opportunities.
Well, affirmative action, right? That was a free token. Going back to freeness, it was a token. Like, yo, if you was black and we wanted to demonstrate that our agency and our company wasn't racist, we hired a Black person. We gave you a spot. You might not have even been visible in the office, but on paper, we hired a Black person or two, right? So there's tokenism with DEI. And not just, well, now the term people of color includes not just Black, but anybody with yellow skin and that's not white. But I think that, when I was in college, I wasn't hopeful that when I got out, I was going to be hired because I was Black. I really prided myself on getting an education and coming out without any loans. So
But
I took pride in knowing that, I didn't.
You're thinking about it from the perspective of just race. I'm like, diversity, equity, and inclusion has to do with gender, disability, sexual orientation, all of those different types of things that make it an unequitable work environment for those. It's merit based because they will be then, even less of a minority class once they get into those positions because of how, you're taking out all of the diversity.
When I was a teenager, I could recall my mindset about when I saw a disabled person working somewhere. I would always think, oh, they gave them a job. That's nice. That's how I used to think as a teenager. And I'm sure that some adults think that same way, like, oh, wow, they're disabled, accessibility. They gave them the job. Like they didn't ask them if they were qualified. They didn't ask if they had an education, if they could read or write, or they gave them a job because they need assistance, right? Because you were saving them or something like that. That's how I used to think as a teenager without me being, in the employment world. And I think that when you think about disability, that's a given that you should help those people. Anyone that has any kind of disability, whether it's mental or physical, they should always get assistance because they're automatically at a disadvantage. So when I'm thinking DEI,
so you think that they should get assistance, but they shouldn't be meritoriously hired?
No, I think that it should be on merit with everyone. But I'm saying that the mindset for many people is that because a person is disabled, why are you giving them a hard time? Hire them. What's wrong with you? Have some empathy. Have some compassion. Hire them. Why do you care, what their background looks like? Hire them. How much damage could they do to your company? A disabled person could be a murderer, right? So if you don't do a background check and that person comes into the work environment and then they go postal one day, well, that's the term for getting angry and slaughtering everyone in the office. Who's held accountable for that? Well, they were disabled. Yeah, we gave them. Well, yeah, but then people will say, well, why did you hire them? Well, we didn't do a background check. We just gave them a chance. Well, you shouldn't have given them a chance. So it kind of
I'm saying, you could say we did do a background check and we found out they had mental illness, but diversity and equity and inclusion said we had to let them have a job.
Exactly. So I think that things should be based on merit. I think that we should pride ourselves on excellence. There's nothing wrong with trying to be excellent. There's nothing wrong with pushing. Some people do have limitations. They can only get as far as they can. But with that, find a way. But, his mindset is for the state. It's a state agency. We represent the people here, the constituents. We're responsible for making sure a lot of things happen in these people's lives. And so this is what I want to do. Let me play another clip. I'll play the second.
Employees were just good at what they wanted to come and do for you.
Braun said the move will attract a wider pool of talent of Hoosiers who want to work for the state. Another executive order calls for state agencies to examine the requirements to get a professional license in Indiana, reducing those requirements when possible.
They're important. employees.
Oh, sorry. So he's kind of like restructuring. It sounds to me, there's a lot of information on 19 orders that he signed, but it sounds like he's trying to like figure it out. Like, I don't agree with DEI. We're going to embrace MEI and see how that works, again, because we are an agency and we're trying to push excellence in the people that we have working for us. I like the idea where he will make it good, where like, let's examine what if we needed I'm listening.
Where is the DEI? How do you get to MEI? Merit and equity, right? I mean, merit and excellence, right?
Right.
What is the on ramp for the disenfranchised to rise notoriously? Where is the on ramp for those that didn't go to Harvard and Yale to have excellence? Like there's some law firms, some places that don't hire people that didn't go to Ivy League schools. Like you can have all the A's, you can have all the A's from a community college, but it's not seen as somebody who has an associate's or something from Yale or Harvard.
I think it has to do with mindset. And there's going to be a challenge to changing the mindset of people. For decades, it's been Ivy League. You go to Ivy League, you get picked from Ivy League, you excel as Ivy League, you reap all the benefits of Ivy League. It's costly, but once you get in, you're good for life. There just has to be a mindset shift in order to get people from a space of DEI to MEI. And that's going to take like other smaller micro steps to get people from, I think that it takes a lot of rehab. I'm listening.
Because if you have all these people that there's only but so many scholarships to these types of universities. So if you have all these people applying, getting accepted, that's still only a certain percentage. The majority is going to be those that have the funds to just outright pay for it and not be looking for scholarships and grants and things of that nature. So it's always going to be unequitable if you're talking about doing it on merit or excellence, because there's a issue of access to it.
There's money involved. Absolutely. Maybe they have to look at lowering their cost. If you want accessibility, not just for someone who's disabled, where you build a ramp to the building and you put in an elevator, you have to have accessibility to the economics of this, the resources, the finances, bring the cost down. Oh no, we'll fix it by giving away scholarships, but we'll keep the cost up. We're going to keep our costs up, but we will give out scholarships for those that can't afford it. But if you're disabled, the AMA Act, right? The ADA Act, every building has to have a ramp, no exception. Maybe they can do that with the educational system. If they wanted to, if this country if the Department of Education under the federal, cluster, if they wanted to, in New York City, every building has to have a ramp for a person disabled. Why can we not create that for every person to get an education? Because education
they do have that, but
they do have what?
Like you have 504 for people, like everybody has a right to an education, up into the age of 21 in New York, or depending on what your state education board says. Right,
but can a person with a 504 go to an Ivy League and pay? If they can pay top dollar, will they be allowed into an Ivy League school with the 504?
Yeah. If you're paying, yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, it's about money. If you're paying, you get in. But what I'm saying is simpler than that. Every building in New York City has to have a ramp for a disabled person. Means building. That means no one is excluded from entering a building. So if we're talking about education, people get excluded from getting an education. And what are the reasons why? There's no entry to it. So how do you change that?
Yeah, but I'm like, that might be with like newer buildings that are being built, but older buildings, you know, aren't being forced.
They have to have they are. They get a ramp. They have to build they either build a cement ramp or they get the metal ramp and add it to the building, or they break down the stairs and rebuild the stairs with the ramp extension. Even a storefront grocery corner store has to have a ramp to get into the store. So again, it's just about mindset and how we want people to be accessible to things. If you could do it for a person in a wheelchair, a person in a chair that has wheels with the power, if you can do it for them, you can do it for everybody, so we can get an education, and then that can kind of help out where DEI can be something that is more of like certain tools, but we're not like some people don't feel like, well, they got all these picks because they were a person of color. They were part of the percentage of free tickets and free seats and things like that. Let's play the third clip.
Governor Braun says he'll also be directing state agencies to look at their policies to make sure they align with a 2023 Supreme Court ruling that decided race-conscious college admission policies violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment.
Replacing DEI in government with MEI, merit, excellence, and innovation.
Under this order, the Braun administration has closed the state's Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity Office. Governor.
Oh, sorry. Clips. Sorry, I thought it was another clip to kind of like further explain his approach, but I kind of like. I think merit creates competition and challenge. I mean, I like the energy of competitiveness, but I do think that we need some kind of support with helping people, aside from people just being disabled. You know, people. We need something else, and sometimes you have to try something different to see what else can work. I don't know, if every state is going to employ what he's doing, but he seems to be one of the first ones, or the first to like the whole office is getting rid of DEI. But we'll see what happens.
All right, so yeah,
let's go into
DEI. Seems like it's about the DIE is going up in flames like LA. So let's move into that.
Let's play this clip. JT, your intro's a while. Like, all right, let's run this one. Hold on.
Oh my God! Please God! Please God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Please keep the horses safe. Please God! Please. I'll be in this tunnel. Oh my God. 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 Please, God, please. Oh my God. Oh my God, please let me out of here. Please, God. Please, God, please let me out of here. Please, God. Please. Oh my God. 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 Oh my God.
Yeah, that was real.
That was more than real. Like, I've watched that clip already, and it still feels like I'm watching it for the first time. Like, my heart rate has gone up. My body is so tense. I feel like I'm in the car trying to get out of wherever she's at. That's how I feel like. I feel like I'm behind the wheel driving, trying to get through that fire. You think she made it out?
Let's hope so, because yeah, didn't look promising, but I guess the video got out somehow.
But she was live.
Well, then
It was recorded live. It's
well,
scary.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's scary.
So that's while the fires were actually going off. Let's see the next clip where the fire, like the aftermath.
Bro, this is apocalypse in California. Bro, real life apocalypse in California. Everything is burning to the ground. You guys, it's like a zombie land. Look at this. Look at this, bro. Everything's burning to the ground, you guys. People left their cars. They left everything behind. Newscaster out. Man. If this ain't crazy, then what's crazy, you guys? Is the world coming to an end? Oh my God, look at the grocery store. Look at this shit, you guys. What the fuck? Oh my God. Real life apocalypse. Wow. The food market is burning down. Burns up. Everything's gone. What? The elementary school?
So yeah, your name is LA, so tell us your thoughts on LA.
It's crazy. I got a friend that's out there right now. I've been reaching out to her, and it's crazy. She's like, it's just so different. She's in entertainment, so things are kind of like moving differently now. It's crazy. I don't that clip looks like The Walking Dead. It looks like The Walking Dead. Like that. This guy shouts out that the school is burning. No one's going to school. This is so traumatizing for kids, for families. To be a kid and watch this stuff and remember this years later, it's going to be so traumatizing. There's no school. There's no, like he said, there's no grocery store. There's nothing. People had to leave, pick up and leave. And that area doesn't look like it's in the mountains.
So with like we were talking about the last story with DI, I'm like, kids are, we're stuck in the house doing remote learning for COVID. Now, if you live on the West Coast or California specifically with these wildfires, you're displaced and out of school once again. I'm like, it's going to be real hard to get those merit-based positions now.
Well, it started from the bottom. Now we here. It's going to take a while. Now, I know you had a perspective on the Olympics, so you feel like they're going to like bounce this all back. It's going to, be like a bouncy house and just blow up. Like, how do you even see that? Where does your imagination take you to think that they're just going to be able to rebuild this so quickly?
I think I have a clip that actually speaks to that.
I'm going to comment about this, and I'm going to shock you. People from BlackRock are going door to door offering to buy homes now. They say, whatever you do with the insurance company is your business. Fix what you want or don't. Here's a price we're willing to pay for your home now. BlackRock is going door to door. You think this happened by accident? The dams have been emptied by Governor Newsom for no good reason. The hydrants are empty for no good reason. LA had its rainiest season this year since the 20s. In almost 90 years, 100 years ago, it was the rainiest season and there's no water in the reservoirs. 3 months ago, State Farm, the big insurer in L.A., just happened to cancel everybody's fire policies because the governor decided not to allow State Farm to increase their prices. So people now have no insurance. Do you think this happened by accident? One thing I learned over years on Wall Street, follow the money. Who's going to profit by this? Not who's getting hurt. Who's going to profit by this? BlackRock is going door to door, making offers now for cash.
Yeah, so what do you think about that?
Who the hell is BlackRock? Is that a construction development company? That a state agency? Who's BlackRock?
No, I think that's like I think it's like a development type of company or something like that. I can Google it.
So you telling me the dams have been empty of water? Like there's no water in the dams? And the reservoir? Like how does that even make sense? And my next question is, why would California not let them increase insurance rates if we know over time your rate does increase based on the cost of supplies and goods, and if something does happen to your house, they usually estimate what it's going to cost to repair it. So why would they not allow them to increase rates?
So yeah,
policies to get canceled.
You want to. The average person doesn't want their rates to increase, and they want legislation to hold their rates at a certain amount. But then your governor does it, and now you're mad because they didn't allow.
They canceled your policy. They canceled your policy. That's what they did.
Yeah, but that's the result of you wanting to pay less.
Okay, well, listen,
everybody's been complaining about inflation. That's like, one of the major issues of the economy, of just American culture for the past few years.
Listen, people will always complain about inflation, but they buy $1,000 cell phones and they spend money in all these other areas of their life. I have an older model vehicle and I still have full coverage on it. Because if something happens to the vehicle or myself or someone in the vehicle, if someone gets struck in the streets or anything like that, the insurance is there for that reason. If I say to the insurance company, oh, no, take this off. I don't need that. No, take that off. I don't need that. Oh, no, take this too. I don't need that. How much is my policy? $2? Yeah, I'll pay $2 a month. Then when something happens, I want to call the insurance company to see if I'm covered. They're like, no, you took all those features off. You only paid $2 just to have your wheels spinning on the street. I think that if something is costing you more money, you need to look at your financial situation and you need to fix that, because something as important as having fire insurance, that's a necessity.
Yeah, but that's not the case of what happened. The insurance companies canceled the policy. Like, people wanted to pay for it, but they canceled it, so they couldn't pay for it. And I just looked it up. BlackRock is because management firm.
See, so think about this. You don't want to increase. You don't want to pay more, but you want me to cover all the damage of your policy. Like, we can't afford to do it. We're running a business here. Insurance companies are a business. It's required that you have insurance on your home while you have a mortgage. When that mortgage goes away, you don't have to have property insurance. If you got money, you may not be worried about property insurance. You don't want to pay the extra money or whatever a month. But they are a business. And if they're going to be losing money, then they can't be in business. If you and I have a relationship and I'm the company and you're the customer and you come to me, well, I can't pay this, I can't pay that. Okay, sir. Just leave the merchandise on the counter and come back when you can afford it. And not only that, we are being blocked by your state. You want to stay living in that state? then get another insurance company, because we're going to lose money if we did this for all the people in the state of California. It's a business. I think it should have been an option. I think they should have allowed an option that you pay more and this is what you get. You pay less, we don't cover you for this, including fire. So you are put on notice that you want to pay $2 a month for your policy. It doesn't cover flood and fire. Pay you $2. We'll make a quick buck off of you.
But I'm
don't
like,
call us.
But I'm like, fire, right? What is the definition of fire? Because you would say a fire that starts from the house or from a neighboring house. This is an act of God, like a natural disaster of sorts, because FEMA's there. So
right.
we be still caught under a fire policy, or are we talking about a wild fire, 100-mile-per-hour wind blaze?
Well, you know, most insurance policies, natural disasters are not covered, but you should still have a fire policy. You can have bad wiring in your home. A microwave can spark a fire. You should still have a fire policy. Your home is electric. You should still have a fire policy.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like,
I don't know.
How do the insurance companies define fire, particularly in this case?
Well, fire would be in connection to something, to how it started in your home. So that's usually how they do an investigation. You know, the fire in your home, you know, what started it. If it's arson, that's another thing. If they discover that some kind of liquid was poured to start the fire, they're like, oh no, that's not an accidental fire. That was deliberate. And I don't even know if they cover it. Let's say one of your worst enemies in the world comes and attacks your home. I don't even know if they cover you for that, if they decided to start a fire at your home. I don't know. I don't know the details, but right now, I'm sure the state of California is going to be revisiting that policy, because what we just saw is a lot.
Let's check out this next
Los Angeles 2.0. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. 15-minute cities, here they come. Our good friend Gavin Newsom can't control his enthusiasm. He's smiling ear to ear. There's still houses on fire. Oh, how convenient. A smart city in LA by 2028, just in time for the Olympics. They are telling you to your face what they're doing. And he can't contain himself.
And all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those 3 iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team of looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts.
Yo. That was too quick. That plan came too quick. That plan came like 2 snaps.
Don't you want your government to act, quickly when there's, an emergency situation or,
Yeah, that's what emergency management is for. They're supposed to act quickly.
But you're saying they're acting too quickly now.
No, I'm saying I guess you're always going to have contingency plans, right? That's the role of the government, is to just in case. We have just in case manuals, policies, handbooks, instructions, everything is just in case. But I mean, you want them to act quick, but this is like well, we had this plan with the Olympics, so now it's convenient. I don't know. It just feels it could be a little conspiracy theory. It could be a little bit of wait, hold on a second. Y'all knew the Olympics were coming here. It would have cost you more money to go through a building than if that building is not there. You can build any way you want now. So I don't know. It could be. Let's go with the next one. What we up to next?
Thoughts and prayers and acknowledgement to the situation of LA and California and whatnot. There's really no way to do a good transition into Wendy Williams next, but this is a story that's been kicking off this week with Wendy Williams, being on the Breakfast Club, and TMZ being
is relevant in a way because it actually connects pretty well, because this is someone that's been on television with everything, right? In the eyes of the people, Wendy has everything. How she describes it now, she's living in a box. So you have people in LA, their lives have been destroyed and changed by an event, and so has Wendy Williams. So it ties in well.
Yeah, Wendy Williams has always had crazy conspiracy theories about the entertainment industry, just like people have had about what's going on in LA post wildfires. So let's hear from, I guess you'd say her gossip or entertainment news
on herself,
colleague or cohort, Harvey Lennon, about her condition.
Hey everybody, it's Harvey Levin from TMZ. I just spent an hour and a half on the phone with Wendy Williams, and I can tell you that the Wendy Williams I spoke to today is the same Wendy Williams that I knew 10 years ago. There was no difference. She was lucid, she was articulate, she was with it. And she was opinionated. I'm not going to get into the specifics because it was an off-the-record conversation. But she wants me to give my evaluation of what I heard. Charlemagne the God was on the phone call as well. And my impressions were precisely what Charlemagne has already said, that Wendy Williams seemed like she could have done her radio show today. There was no lapse in her judgment. There was no hesitation in what she was saying. And I'm not a doctor, but I am alarmed that Wendy Williams has had her freedom taken away from her. And
So, what do you think about that?
Well, I listened to a lot of the interview. I couldn't get through all of it because of some of it is emotional, and I'm such an empath that energy vibrates through me with people that are going through things. And she was crying a little bit during the interview, and I think that there's not enough compassion in the world, and there's a lot of greed behind people's intentions. She sounded very clear to me, very articulate, very strong and passionate about her life, advocating for her life. And I know people are like, well, Wendy was, all in everybody else's business, gossiping on everybody else's life. She's reporting just like how the news report. She made a career out of it. She got blackballed from radio. She found a new way to survive and take care of herself and her family. But we don't have all the details because legally she's not allowed to speak about it. But just the fact that she goes from television to getting a divorce to now living in a box, that can happen to anyone. Anyone with money that can happen to. And she's a human being, and she has a voice, and
that's a clear distinction. Anyone with money, because I don't think people are putting people, poor people in conservatorships.
They do. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. People will go to the Supreme Court right here in Brooklyn and request that they be the guardian for a family member, and the judge will appoint a person, not a family member, not a friend, not associated with that person. They do it all the time to poor people, and they end up being homeless and on the streets and leaving from wherever they are because they don't like the conditions and how they're being treated.
You can't just be committed like just because you're poor. Like you have to have a reason. Like they're saying that she has dementia and all this. So I'm like, it's more an issue of like health diagnosis and stuff like that. Not, it's not necessarily. It's if we can make somebody rich seem like they're sick, then we can take their money.
You could take money of a person that's not rich. If a person has a retirement, if a person has a regular job and they've done well for themselves, you don't have to be rich for that to happen. It happens in everyday life all the time. That guardianship, conservatorships, all of these, it's the same thing. I noticed they use a different word for people with money, like with Britney Spears, but it does happen a lot that people take advantage of other people. That's the core of what I'm trying to say. People have a voice. And yeah, if a person is sick, you want to be honest about how sick they are. But if you're trying to control everything about them because your perception is that they should be living a life this way and not according to their own happiness, that's a problem. And legally, obviously things are brought up. They're fighting this legally, but she has a right to a voice. And an emotionally disturbed person, when you call 911 and you say this person is harming themselves, and the ambulance come and they're like, what is this person doing? Harming themselves. And you're like, well, they only take a bath once a day, or they don't take baths. And they're like, okay, what's the harm in that? We may not agree with certain things, but people still have a choice in how they want to live their life. But again, we don't know the details, but I'm speaking from a very empathetic and compassionate space.
So let's get some of these details from Wendy herself.
Clearly not. Look, I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner right here on the bed, all right? Mm-hmm. I watch TV, I listen to radio, I look at the window, I talk on the phone. And by the way, Alex, talk about this phone, please. Alex, you've been right here where I am, so you know exactly what you're talking about. You flew from Miami to New York, and you were right here with me. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what she's saying is exactly what's happened. She's there in New York, in this place, essentially like what some would call a luxury prison, right? This is her room. That's literally her apartment. But the thing about this apartment, and you know this, not Wendy, because you're there, it's small. She has a bed, a chair, a TV, a bathroom, and she's looking out one window. The building's across the street.
So there you have it.
That's not what she's used to.
Struggle streaming.
Right, you're back.
Yeah, struggle streaming already. Little technical difficulty right there, but
don't worry, I held it down. I just sat here and smiled, waiting for it.
You got to reach out and talk to people.
She's been reduced. I mean, part of the interview, she said she sold her apartment, so and all of her things are in storage. So she's starting over. She said she got a divorce. She's starting over. Some of the other things in the interview, she's not sure if she's gonna be able to see her father for his 90-something birthday party. She was able to go to her son's graduation from college, but You know, if she's starting over, she sounds empowered. She sounds healthy to me. I think it'll just be a matter of time that she'll be able to fight her way through this. And she has at least one person in her life who's advocating for her, and that is her niece. And all it takes is one. It only takes one person to help shake the building and get some things, you know, some results. What do you think about it?
I'm like, as we were discussing, you know, before I played the clips, she, you know, it's about having money. And she said she only has $15 to her name right now because everything is, you know, locked up with Wells Fargo and this conservatorship, or, you know, the court-appointed monitor or whatever. She has a GoFundMe to get, you know, legal counsel because she, you know, she doesn't have the money to pay for it. So, you know, are you going to contribute to the GoFundMe?
Of course I am. Listen, let's play the clip where she talks about her relationship with Charlamagne, because I'm happy about that. The fact that they maintained a friendship. You know, they had their issues going on, they separated, but she was able to come back to him for help.
Alex, and Charlamagne and I, by the way, have known each other for like 20 years and running.
That is very true. Wow. Listen, Wendy, let's get right to it. I'm going to tell everybody what's going on. Wendy Williams is currently trapped in a conservatorship. If you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's when someone is in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves. Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of. Right. Wendy, tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, you know, but I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in New York City, right? And by the way, my apartment has been sold, thank God, you know, a while ago. But I, you know, I'm in this place where the people are in their 90s and their 80s. And their 70s, and even when people are 60 like me, hey, I'm sexy and gorgeous. You know, I am 60. Look, please, July 18th, 1964, honey. But look, these people, I don't care if they're 50 and 60. They have look, there's something wrong with these people here on this floor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not saying something bad. I'm just saying that I am with these people. I am.
Listen, Charlamagne got her back. That's loyalty. He got her back. I'm sure the ratings went up, but this wasn't about ratings on the Breakfast Club. Like, he gave her a platform, and that's what she needed. She needed a platform to spark this. So I'm going to contribute to the GoFundMe. That's all you need to do is contribute. I'm sure she still has a lot of celebrity friends that have been helping her behind the scenes. And you know, what I always question? I always ask, where do they keep all their money? Is all of the money in the bank? Is it not in a bunker somewhere? Is it not in a safe where they can get to their own cash? I always think about that. Obviously, they live off the interest, but where do they keep all of this money, that everything, like she doesn't have access to anything? Don't know.
She keeps it all in one bank. Like, you know, she hasn't spread it out across multiple banks, offshore accounts. You know, I don't think she's a economic conspiracy theorist that, you know, has you know, one of those crypto wallets and all that types of stuff.
You have a crypto wallet?
No, but I'm looking into it.
Yeah, I've been looking into this crypto and this Web3 stuff too. You have a picture, and that picture represents money, and you could just use the picture to move around. There's some stuff out there, but to have millions of dollars, and it's interesting.
I think I might have to go back to grade school or something, because this last clip that I wanted to play. They're doing some crazy things about financial education in New York now. Let's take a look.
Today, I'm setting an important new goal. We will make sure that every single New York City student can learn how to save and spend money by 2030. We're going to put a financial educator in every single school district to provide workshops, counseling, and curriculum. We will open up 15 bank branches in our city schools to give students real world experience, opening accounts, saving, and investment.
Wait, hold on. Why do you need to open up 15 bank branches? I don't like that idea. I don't like that. Why do they need to open up their branch? Why not just connect?
Sound like you hating on the kids. I thought
I'm not hating on the kids. I'm just mindful when it comes to money. Why not take them to the branches that already exist? Why do we have to open up 15 branches to help manage and monitor their money? Because
I'm sure the students will be running. It'll be like student run branches within the school, so they get experience. It'll be like a technical school, but for finance, so to say.
I didn't get that. That's not what I got from him. When he said we're going to open 15 branches, I'm thinking it's going to be DOE Bank of New York. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy that I'm getting from it. But I mean, like, even now, you have a lot of different financial literacy programs for kids that they have workshops, and they take the kids to the local branch, and they have relationships with the branch people there, and they help them establish bank accounts for our kids, custodial accounts. I don't know why he needs to open 15 branches. I don't understand that part. I don't know. It just sounds like they gotta
every borough. Then yeah, you put 3 of them in every borough.
But what do you need? What do you need to establish that chain for? Why? We have banks already. What's the angle? I get the workshops and stuff. Shout out.
We don't have banks in the actual school. If you put them in actual in some of the schools, then students can work there, or students from other schools can come to that school and work there for certain hours. Get college credit or something to put on their resume, things of that nature.
I'm real funny about my money. Like, I don't play when it comes to money. So maybe that's my little hesitation. Like, I'm a little hesitant when it comes to, well, we're going to open up 15. I mean, I'm not being negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I want to hear more. Oh, man, listen, this past weekend, a friend of mine, she had this financial summit, and for one day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., full throttle of building wealth and finance mindset, right? Because you have to have the mindset in order to have the wealth. And there's a young lady, her name is Aaliyah Dua, and she created this financial program. She goes and talks to students across the school. So I'm hoping that they can include her in that. Like, she's really teaching these kids about financial literacy. And she played one of her promotional videos. And in the video, in the room full of kids, she was asking them, what do you think about the guy on the street that has street cred, like on his block? And she asked the students, that person is concerned with a block, but do you know how big the world is? Don't be concerned with getting street cred on your block when there's a whole world out there. And I thought that was profound, because kids need to hear that. They need to hear some things to kind of like get that mindset shift. So shout out to her. Her name is Aaliyah Dua, and she has a platform. She graduated from a historically Black college, and she is doing some things with financial literacy. So you're right on time with this. Actually, I should have, you should have told me about this clip. I would have got her clip and played it, because I just saw her on Saturday. I just met her on Saturday, and she's steaming. So yeah, I mean, I like the idea. Financial literacy should start young. It starts young in a lot of other households, culturally different from us, and we got to do better. We really do have to be better with it. And it sounds like he's the first mayor to do it, right?
And for the old heads who didn't get this education that's about to be given, we have to save them through GoFundMe's like Wendy Williams.
Come on now. She's a different example. Her money got locked down. I think she got surprised about her money being locked down. She really need to get one of them big ass safes to put her money in. I think that she got caught off guard with being sick. Because I saw the episode where she was on stage and she froze and then blacked out. So something did happen. But people heal. People get better. Give her a chance. Let this lady get back to where she's at. She had a horrible public divorce. The guy bounced around with somebody close to them and all of that. Come on, man. We gotta people emotional breaks and physical stress it does to the body, right? We gotta give Wendy a second chance, but she's an exception. But I bet her son knows about wealth. We know that her son got financial literacy in his life, so we'll see. All right, we on to something. Let's get to this bounce. I see you got this clip. You gonna play this last clip?
Say it again. What?
This last clip. Come on,
yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah. If
I'm
you want to
hyped
get
about this.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you throw to it.
All right. I want this one because I wanna talk about it. Let me play it.
Cause I'm around 50 Cent, you know how I get down. What up, blood? What up, cuz? What up, blood? What up? What up, blood? What up, cuz? What up, blood? What up? They say I walk around like I got an ass on my.
Yo. All right. So what did you think about that clip with 50 Cent and his team performing and the crowd? Give me your take on that. Everything you saw.
Yeah, it was a 50 Cent performance. It was quality.
So what's the problem? Who would want to say that Las Vegas show, the dates that he had, that there was a problem? I don't see anything wrong with that. We just went to the concert. He just nailed it. He just shook the whole building at the Lock show, right? And that was, he did a couple of songs like this. I'm confused by it. Even watching the clip, you feel the energy through the screen. This is 50 Cent. I don't think anybody could ever say that he don't deliver. Look at the crowd. They are lit. Why do you think that somebody would want to say that his show did not meet the best expectations? Where do you think that would come from?
I don't know. Maybe maybe the person who went to the show, caught the matinee or something, and it wasn't fully filled. Something like that. I don't know.
It's no matinee. You talking about? Nah. Listen, that is 50 Cent. I don't even think 50 cares about the remarks, because obviously if you see that crowd, man, I just wanted to play it because I know you and I were there. When we was at the show, shout out to the Locks. They put on a great show. They booked some great artists. What did you think about 50's performance?
Yeah, 50 held it down. You know what I mean? Like 50 isn't one of those people that, have to perform with, perform with the actual song playing in the background, and he's rapping over top of his own vocals and everything. You get a quality show, and you get Tony Ayo is probably the best hype man of this century.
Yeah, I like Tony Ayo. I like him. I like Tony Ayo. So check this. I read the book. His book is Hustle Harder, Hustle. And I could see when I watch 50, everything about 50 spells correctly. He's power. He is power. He is power. And going back to financial literacy for our kids, going back to Wendy Williams losing her money, not having access to it, going all the way back to LA and the powerless people who can't rebuild their homes and have to be moved someplace else, from the DEI to the MEI and state office. And it's all about power. I think today's segment was about power. The dynamic of people gaining power, losing power, and the ones that keep the power. And 50 Cent has power, man. He has power in everything that he does. And when I read his book, if you don't have the mindset that you need to have, I recommend anybody read his book. I read the book and I'm like, a lot of it just confirmed how I think as a person. But for somebody that just doesn't know, they're clueless, reading his book is a good example of somebody coming from the hood. You know, there's a lot of to-do books, do this, do that. But 50 Cent is different. He breaks down, he gives you clear examples of why he would do it this way and why he has done something that way in each chapter. And I like the book. Well written from 50 Cent. He talked. It was him talking. It wasn't like it was glammed up. I like it. 50 Cent is power, man. So for anybody that got something to say about his shows, his intention behind his companies, everything he's doing, I love it. So what else? What else you got?
And that was that right there. It was sponsored by G Unit. It seems like you're on the payroll. I don't know why I'm not, but yeah. We're about to get up out of here, and thanks for watching all the way through. This is first, go around with this, but we will get better and make adjustments and, be a well-oiled machine and whatnot. So, live your life live and catch us on the next stream.
Let's manifest it. We'll manifest it. We will be sponsored by 50 Cent. We will be sponsored by G Unit Films. We'll be sponsored by thisis50.com. You got to manifest it. You got to put the energy out there. So we'll have a nice little logo somewhere in the back, right, with a sponsor. So if you want to sponsor with us, hit us up. Let us know. We are living live. We are live. And thank you for tuning in. This is the first of many to come. Thank you. Jay, see you next time.
See you next time, LA.